Hi everybody and welcome back, and show of hands, who's planning on trying to at least work in a little nap between now and 9:45 if you're catching the early show, as I suspect very few catching the late show tonight. It's alright, I understand. And up to a few moments ago, my hand would have been raised, with the exception of the realization just a moment ago that the Sagersville City Council meets in regular session tonight, not their usual meeting night, and it just nearly slipped my mind, but did not. So a report on all happenings therein forthcoming on tomorrow's program. Other local headlines, though, will be discussed in a few moments. We'll get to a couple of news items from elsewhere that, of course, pertain to everyone in Kentucky, and that is that I have just a little bit of information that we can tag along tonight to some bills which were passed by the General Assembly as they wound down in the legislative session. My apologies, came to an official end this week. We'll start off with the heroin bill and a little more that I can add to earlier reports. State lawmakers did reach a compromise on the anti-heroin legislation that supporters say balanced the need for tough penalties for traffickers along with treatment options for addicts. The legislation is known as Senate Bill 192. It passed the Senate by a vote of 34-4. It had earlier passed the House by a vote of 100-0, and the governor says he will sign it at first opportunity because there is emergency language. It's an emergency clause therein that says it will take effect immediately upon being signed, and he will do so, he says, at first chance. The bill, and this was a little bit of the controversy surrounding it, the bill allows heroin users to exchange dirty needles for clean ones at the state's regional health departments, but only if local jurisdiction approves. It also contains the so-called Good Samaritan provision. It shields heroin addicts from being prosecuted if they report an overdose if they provide their name and address. Senate Bill 192 will immediately infuse Kentucky's addiction treatment system with $10 million initially, another $24 million annually from money saved from prior judicial reforms designed to reduce prison costs by providing lawbreakers with drug treatment, among other things. It further provides for administration of naloxone, a medication used to counter the effects of an overdose by first responders. There's also money included for Vivitrol, a drug used to help narcotic dependents who have stopped taking narcotics to stay drug-free. The tougher penalties in Senate Bill 192 are reserved, they say, for the worst traffickers. And as far as drinking and driving, the state's General Assembly did pass the bill closely before the close of legislation that will expand the use of ignition interlocks for people caught driving under the influence of alcohol. That was Senate Bill 133, and they say it will reduce the number of habitual drunken drivers. They say, unlike previous versions of the bill, it doesn't require first-time DUI offenders to purchase an ignition lock unless they were found guilty with or of aggravating circumstances, like having a child in the car or speeding more than 30 miles per hour over the limit. Senate Bill 133, they say, does go as far as supplementing hardship licenses, special licenses allowing people with suspended licenses to drive to work, school, and doctor's appointments and such. It's a device, they say, is about the size of a mobile phone. It's wired to the ignition system. A person convicted of DUI must blow into the device in order to be able to start their vehicle. They say that in 24 other states, similar legislation has decreased fatalities in those respective states to the tune of 30%. And legislation is going to Governor Beshear's desk that will allow Kentuckians in dating relationships, no longer do you have to be married, but in dating relationships, to go to court and get immediate civil protection against abusive boyfriends or girlfriends. House Bill 8, sponsored by the House Judiciary Committee Chairman John Tilley and a host of others, would allow dating violence victims, whether they are victims of domestic violence, dating violence, sexual assault, or stalking, to get a civil protective order as of the 1st of 2016. That order can be erased from someone's record if it is dismissed ever by the court. Provisions relating to the domestic violence would be distinguished from dating violence, stalking, and sexual assault in the bill under Senate language agreed upon by the House. Currently, victims of dating violence in the state of Kentucky must file criminal charges against their partner in the hope of preventing ongoing abuse. Only victims who are married, have a child with, or live with their abuser currently can seek civil protection from domestic violence or abuse, physical, stalking, other such instances of abuse under Kentucky law. National survey data, I do want to include this in as we end up this report. National survey data from the Centers for Disease Control found that 638,000 Kentucky women had been raped, stalked, or suffered some form of physical attack by a romantic partner in the Commonwealth in the year of 2010 alone. And that data also revealed that Kentucky led the nation in forms of sexual violence or abuse that year. That indeed is staggering. Well, one season that's also coming upon us, dirt track season, and they'd hope to get a little test and tune action in at 201 this Saturday. I have been told that it has been canceled. Well, the rain, obviously, cold thereafter, obviously. They do have some big events coming up. The Old Man's Garage Spring Nationals Tour is coming to 201. That's going to be April the 2nd in just a few days. Well, a little more than a week now. And the super late models will take center stage, $4,000 top prize. Open wheel modifieds, Bombers also racing during that event as well. But test and tune for Saturday is off due to weather. We'll be right back with headlines after this.
To get high-speed internet on their state-of-the-art fiber optic network for all of your home and business solutions, or to watch TV without a contract on over 200 digital channels with superb quality, or stay connected with family and friends with 24/7 telephone service you can always depend on, contact Foothills Broadband today. Or just click on their link to the right to find out how they're working to provide the latest in communications at affordable prices with exceptional service at Foothills Broadband.
I've been behind this desk going on 17 years now, and I have covered a handful of accidents involving aircraft. Actually, when I first began this program, one of the very first weekends that I left the Sayersville area, feeling that I need to be here at all times to cover the news, there was an aircraft accident. A small plane crashed on a local farm, and the young pilot walked away. There have been a couple of other instances of aircraft going down. I can recall one in Johnson County, one in Morgan County, and, of course, the following helicopter crash that happened in July of 2013 just across the Morgan County line a short distance, in all of which all the occupants survived, many of which just walked away unscathed. However, in this latest incident involving that DEA helicopter, there is a lawsuit that has now been filed by one of the victims, a passenger in that unit. It was part of Kentucky State Police and DEA pot eradication efforts in July of 2013 when the helicopter came in contact with the utility line that had been left behind by a coal mining operation.
Just a few miles into Breathitt County from Magoffin County first responders were just about as close and were called to the accident scene, where Kentucky State Police and a host of other agencies, including the DEA, were doing pot eradication, as I said. Now a lawsuit has since been filed on behalf of a passenger in that helicopter. The lawsuit names Edwin Edward Iserman, known as Al, as well as his wife Barbara and two minor sons. The lawsuit is against Kentucky Power, Consol of Kentucky. It also lists an unknown employee of Consol, just identified as John Doe in the case, and Kentucky Power and Consol of Kentucky, as well as the owners of the aircraft, listed as L3 Communications Vertex Aerospace, and the pilot, identified as Andrew T. Crotty. Iserman, who is a resident of Breathitt County, was seriously injured in that helicopter crash on July the 29th of 2013 while he was a passenger on the flight that was being operated by the United States Drug Enforcement Agency. Freelance has been identified as the registered owner of the helicopter that day, while Iserman was a passenger, and Crotty has been identified as the pilot of the helicopter. It also goes on to state that Consol of Kentucky and Kentucky Power failed to adequately mark their power line in accordance with state and or federal regulations, resulting in the crash, and that while flying between ridges near Elamton and Breathitt County, the helicopter crashed after it struck that unmarked utility wire, and due to the gross negligence of all the defendants named before, the power line was not visible to the pilot of the aircraft. Count 1 says that Iserman has incurred reasonable and necessary medical expenses and will continue to incur additional medical expenses in the future, and because of the serious bodily injury sustained in the accident, he has been caused to suffer great physical pain, suffering, mental anguish, and inconvenience, and will continue to suffer those in the future as well. He has lost wages, it says, and suffered a permanent impairment of his ability to earn money in the future, and that as a result he has suffered a loss of enjoyment of life and a loss of the quality of life. And as a result as well, it says that the plaintiff's wife, Barbara Leah Eiserman, as well as his 2 sons, identified as minors in the case, have suffered the loss of their husband or father's services, assistance, society, companionship, and conjugal relationship pertaining to the wife, and that she will continue to suffer such losses in the future, as will the sons as it relates to their father and son relationship and their dependency on him. Among other requests in the suit, it says the Eisermans are entitled to punitive damages in order to punish the defendants and deter similar conduct in the future, and they're asking for damages based on past mental and physical pain, suffering, and inconvenience, as well as that in the future, lost wages and permanent impairment, medical expenses, future medical expenses, and loss of consortium on behalf of his wife and 2 sons, as well as miscellaneous expenses and punitive damages, as well as a trial by jury. Depositions in the case are set to start, I'm told, in the next possible couple of weeks. This that you're looking at now is our first announcement on tonight's McGoffin Farm Bureau-sponsored community calendar. This is a missing pet last seen around 9 o'clock Monday night. They live on Route 7 on Long Creek. He might be in the Salt Lick, Punchin, Whitley, David, or 114 area. And you can see very well what the little pet looks like, and I've got a phone number for you, 884-5077. And, of course, if you see the animal a little later on, you remember seeing on the program, call me. I'll get you the number. We'll run it for the next couple of days in hopes they'll be reunited with their pet. But the little dog, he was last seen, like I said, on Long Creek, possibly Salt Lick, Punchin, Whitley, David, or 114, 884-5077. Birthday wishes tonight to Jamie Lee Howard. Love your dad, Terry, Linda, son, Jaden. And they want to say happy birthday. And I think there's another name here and I can't read it. It might be Jaden Lee. But nevertheless, happy birthday that wishes you many more with a whole lot of love to Jamie Lee Howard. Couple of quick reminders. You can eat with the Sayersville Free Will Baptist Church tomorrow, 10:30 to 2. Their big chicken and dumpling dinner, just $7. Call the church tomorrow, 349-5524 for chicken and dumplings and all the fixings, cake and a biscuit, all just $7. Sayersville Free Will Baptist Church. Breakfast with the Bunny, the Easter Bunny that is this Saturday at the McGoffin County Extension Service, hosted by the Funyuns Extension Homemakers Club. Bring the family. Kids, it's just $3. Adults, it's just $5. Bunny, pancakes, sausage, a drink, and a picture with the Easter Bunny. And they'll deliver it to you as well. I don't know if the Easter Bunny's delivering or not, but you understand, right? But it's at the Extension Service. It starts at 9 o'clock, 9 to 11:30 this Saturday morning at the Extension Service. And also on an Easter note, Easter, I guess, a week from this Sunday. The first annual McGoffin County Relay for Life Easter 5K is this Saturday. The race will start at 10. You can register at 9. There are big gift cards for the first 3 places. Then Ramey Park in Sayersville this Saturday. Register at 9. Race starts at 10. If you have any questions, call 349-8309. And, of course, as I've been telling you, the first 100 to register, well, you get your own set of bunny ears to wear in the race. Can't beat that. And one more reminder, this Tuesday, the next farmers market meeting here in McGoffin County. If you're a producer and or vendor, they'd like to have your input and support and hope that you will be a part of the programs and efforts to see a farmers market developed here in McGoffin County for the first time in such a manner, 349-3216. And one more reminder, the 4-H camp date has been set for July the 16th through the 20th. They have scholarships and payment plans available. Call the McGoffin County Extension Service at 349-3216. And call me whenever you've got a calendar announcement, birthday, anniversary, or otherwise. This is all of our contact information. And remember, you can always catch Your News Today on Howard's Cable Channel 7, Foothills Channel 40, and yournewstoday.com. To get high-speed internet on their state-of-the-art fiber optic network for all of your home and business solutions, or to watch TV without a contract on over 200 digital channels with superb quality, or stay connected with family and friends with 24/7 telephone service you can always depend on, contact Foothills Broadband today. Or just click on their link to the right to find out how they're working to provide the latest in communications at affordable prices with exceptional service at Foothills Broadband.
It seems as though just about every day there's a little more happening in the Mountain Parkway expansion project, and as they're just getting started and scratching the surface, I think we can continue to see that trend for the next several months and few years. That brings us to our latest update about construction ongoing and a road closure set for one road that travels through or is in a part of the project zone.
While the 46-mile Mountain Parkway expansion project continues, that being 30 miles of the parkway itself being widened and then 16 miles of Route 114 from Sagersville to Prestonsburg, contractors working on the project just west of Sagersville are expecting to close Gifford Road for an extended period of time. Now, this closure will start this coming Monday, and following the closure, motorists to the north of the Mountain Parkway will be able to access US 460 to reach Sagersville. Motorists to the south of the parkway can travel 3337 to Kentucky 30 to access the parkway at exit 72, the Colony Farm exit. The Gifford Road closure will speed construction of a bridge that will be part of a new interchange near mile point 70 on the Mountain Parkway. That's 5 miles out of Sagersville, about 3 miles past the Conley Farm exit, if you will, Route 30 exit. Construction work on the bridge is expected to begin in just a few weeks. Clearing, drilling, and blasting activities are continuing in the area, and the speed limit is still reduced to 45. Traffic on the parkway will continue to be stopped during blasts for the safety of workers and travelers, causing short delays, so you certainly need to be aware. Now, here's what we need to be aware of in your Licking Valley RECC forecast. Been a mild one temperature-wise coming off yesterday. Near 8, well, no, I had 80 degrees. 80 degrees yesterday. We started off at 54 this morning, topped out at 73. I got a 1/4 of an inch of rainfall here at the studio today. Some folks in some of those showers picked up a little more than did I. And I've got right at 8 inches of precipitation right now for the month of March as it winds down. A much colder low tonight, 20 degrees colder from last night, 21 of 33 degrees. And we'll see that 30% chance of some showers continuing, actually 80% chance of showers continuing tonight with that 1/4 to 1/2 inch possible. Tomorrow, well, it's Friday. It's going to be after a long night, and we'll see a slight chance of showers continue into your Friday. We'll see partly sunny skies thereafter. 44 degrees as this cold front leaves behind some chilly air. Northwest winds around 7 miles per hour. Friday night, cloudy and a low of 23 degrees. But we do see some sunshine and calm conditions return for your weekend. Saturday, well, sweet looking, not so much as far as how it's going to feel. 39 degrees is all we're going to get out of Saturday, I think, even though it's going to be mostly sunny, and a low back down into the low 20s under clear skies Saturday night. The first half of your weekend is chilly by comparison to the second, where we'll see the sunshine return. We'll see the 50s make a comeback as well. 52 expected on your Sunday, and a low well above the freezing mark puts us out of freezing territory to the tune of 41 degrees. However, our next weather maker, guess what? Surprise, surprise, moves in Sunday night. Clouds will move in Sunday night, as will chances of showers. Those will continue into the first of next week, even though we'll see partly sunny skies at 58 Monday. Still a threat of some showers that will continue. And that threat diminishes into Monday night with a low of 41. Tuesday of next week is going to be a gorgeous one, mostly sunny and 64 right on cue, without a doubt. Even though my graphics are a little lagging behind, but Tuesday definitely looks to be a keeper. And then after Tuesday, well, let's just go ahead and speed up and get caught up here. And then after Tuesday, we have a Wednesday where we'll see the 60s again, 67 and mostly sunny. We start to see a threat of some showers work its way back in. By Wednesday night, we'll see some clouds and a 30% chance of showers, and then showers likely on your Thursday of next week. But really, all in all, some pretty decent weather in store after some cold conditions that will arrive this weekend under some sun. And then, of course, after the showers that have lingered on throughout all day today, tomorrow, and maybe into tomorrow evening and night. We'll say it's half and half. I'm better with half and half. I'm off to the Sagersville City Council meeting, a part of our focus for tomorrow night. Keep in mind, if you have anything that you would like to forward to the program or any questions, this is indeed how you get it, and you can always catch Your News Today on Howard's Cable Channel 7, Foothills Broadband 40, and yournewstoday.com. Thank you for watching, and have a good night.